Hi, and welcome back. For this third video, and it's going to be a bit shorter this time, we're going to be focusing on the tips and tricks of how to make your composition that you already have better. Now these tricks can range from which keys you're pressing, how hard you're hitting them, the order that you're hitting them, and even some recording tricks that I'll show you in a minute. So let's get to it. So now our first trick is going to have to do with building tension. Now where we want tension is going to be in the higher excited moments of the song, near the climax. Now one good way to create tension is to press two notes very close to each other, say the C and the D, at the same time. Now you'll notice that sounds a lot more aggressive than say a C and an E, or a C and an F. When the notes are pressed close together like this, their frequencies crash and sound much more aggressive as opposed to when they have room to breathe, having a note between them. Now let's hear that in the context of an actual piece. As opposed to Now in that second version, you can hear a lot more of that tension. It's uncertain. It adds a lot more aggression to the sound. For our next trick, we're going to be working with velocity. Now you don't need to know this, but velocity is how hard you're hitting the keys when you press them. Now this can be used in our song by starting out slow with a low velocity, building up to a higher velocity near the climax, and then for the end, bringing it back down to a lower velocity. Now for context, this can sound like this. Now you can see how when you get to the bigger parts of the song, when you really start slamming those keys down, it really adds a lot more emphasis on the notes you're pressing. Our next trick is going to have to do with mood choice of the song. Now if you remember, for the white notes, we're only starting on the notes C and A. Now here's the difference between the two of those two. The notes starting with A will sound a bit darker and more mysterious, while the notes starting with C will sound happier and more upbeat. For example, if I play a short melody starting at A, it will sound a lot darker and more mysterious than if we play the same melody starting from C instead. For example, now you can hear how that second version sounds a lot more upbeat and brighter than the original. Now for our last trick, this is going to be a bit more advanced. We're going to be working with layered audio. Now what I mean by layered audio is recording ourselves playing one part of the song and afterward layering that over us playing a second part of the same song. Now that's going to work something like this. With my right hand, I'll play these notes on a higher octave for the first part. Now what we're going to do is play that same loop over a different piece, like this. You can also apply this trick to the bass notes instead of the melody. Now if we play a melody over that, it'll sound like this. Now for my final tip, it's to remember that everything that you do on the piano is fluid. Nothing is set in stone and nothing is wrong. A note that sounds weird to you may sound great to somebody else and vice versa. Every keystroke that you press can always be changed, no matter when you want to change it. Any notes that seem out of place can always fit somewhere else. For example, can sound like this. I think the most important thing to take away from this is that everything is good. There is no perfect in music, there is no wrong in music. It all just is music. So that's basically it. Just keep practicing, keep finding ideas that you think sound good, and keep working on them. Remember the tips, and good luck. Have a good one.